I respect any man who can heal a heart he didn't break and raise a child he didn't make.
I had people say that a real man knows how to step up and take care of responsibilities that aren't his. And yeah, that made me want to take out the bottle and give me a drink. The comment that only a real man would be able to take care of somebody else's kids should make everyone laugh. Because what exactly does it mean to make you a real man? A real man is usually a simp. Someone who idolizes mediocre pizza. That's right. This guy is somebody who has a woman go through a whole lot in her life. A woman who's been drugged through the mud. And then he paid top dollar for it. More than the guy who drug her through the mud.
There is zero benefit in dating single moms. Okay, there is absolutely no reason to date a single mom. Not when there are millions of young single women out there, beautiful young single women that have not yet screwed up their life like a single mom has.
Never date a single mother. Ever. Never date a single mother, period. Never date her. No exceptions. Never date a single mother. There are absolutely no exceptions to this rule.
She's saying we come as a package deal. So if you're going to prioritize me as a mom and I'm going to prioritize my child, if you're going to take me seriously, we come together, all right? We come as a package deal. Now, package deal is an oxymoron in this case when you're dealing with single mothers. It's a package, but it ain't a deal. It's a bad deal. So this
one with getting involved on a long-term basis with single moms, fellas, is you've got 100% responsibility with 0% authority. What I mean by that is when the children, her children specifically, need something, resources, your time to fix something, cars broken, tuition's due for college or university or something like that, they're our children. But when it comes time to discipline them or to enforce boundaries, most guys often find that they're her children at that time. And that's not a great deal for guys because you're basically used like an ATM.
She's looking for some man to take care of her children, take care of her children's needs by buying them clothes and toys. And she's taking advantage of these men and looking to use them basically as childcare, an ATM, a human ATM.
They love to blame men. It's like, oh, well, it's the dad's fault that he didn't stick around. You know, he didn't try to make things work. He's a drug addict. He's an alcoholic. What do you want me to stay with that guy? And it's like, well, who chose that guy?
She's a terrible judge of character, okay? A terrible judge of character who got herself in a terrible situation. And God knows what other terrible situations she's going to get into in the future. Terrible situations that will involve you. You will be a part of this.
As the guy who is choosing to date her over a single woman who doesn't have any kids, if you're choosing to date this single mother, just know that you're always going to be second in her life. And maybe even third, fourth, or fifth, depending on how many kids she has, what her priorities are.
So as you enter a relationship with a single mom, and she has one or maybe two kids, just think, you're going to come in somewhere fourth or fifth in this priority list because the kid's father will get priority as well. You're out there dating these women, guys, you're just going to set yourself up for failure.
The thing about dating a single mom also is, God forbid she introduces you to those kids, but once she does, you can bet from that moment on, she is going to be taking those kids with her on your dates together. And you know who's going to be paying for them? You. You will be paying for them.
So every time you go out to eat, she might bring that kid out to eat as you further down this relationship. If you want to take her out to Disneyland, she's going to expect you to buy a ticket for him or her, whoever the child is, to go to Disneyland as well. So in this, she's preparing you financially. If you're thinking to advance in this dating game, you're going to have to contribute to that child in some form or fashion. Someone
crashes a car, you're going to pay. He breaks the law, you're going to have to put up the bond. He knocks up his girlfriend, And, you know, there's money for the abortion, that's on you. Money for the wedding, that's on you again. You see how it's going to be.
And when you get involved with a single mom and you start to raise her kids, you're basically raising another man's children. You're a cuck. And that's really what guys get themselves into when they get wound up with single moms, is they end up getting cuckolded, where they end up essentially applying their tools, resources, and everything to the genetic investment of another man. It's not particularly rewarding.
You're not the father. And therefore, because you are not the father, you do not have any of the rights of a father. You do not have the right to discipline and teach the child anything, because you're not the father. See, you're the stepfather at best, okay? You're the stepfather, and what will happen is that you will see the kid acting in a way that the kid shouldn't, and what will you do? You'll try to correct the kid, and what will the single mother say? She will say, don't do that, I don't want you to do that. In the not too distant future of the relationship you have with the woman and her kid, you're going to tell the kid, don't do this, and the woman's going to say, you're not her father. I've heard this countless times from other guys who have dated single mothers.
That I've come across where guy gets involved with a woman with children in tow from prior relationship, or relationships in some case. Sometimes it's many kids from several different fathers. And, you know, they're together for a few years, and for whatever reason, things don't work out. She wants to bounce and ends the relationship. He may have, during that period of time, paid off all of her debt, paid for tuition, school, things for her kids, and he can be on the hook over the long term for child support for children that aren't even his. I don't know if there is a greater reason why you should consider avoiding getting deeply involved with single mothers.
On your Dennis Sperling Filtered channel,
right? He
said it's called "Don't Date Single Mothers, or you may be ordered to pay child support." I said, "Wow, this is interesting." Yeah, because you know, here in the manosphere spaces, there are many reasons why guys tell people not to date women with children, and it revolves around, you know, being a cleanup man type of archetype, or, you know, not being her first choice. But yours was, your argument is based clearly on legality, right? Or purely on legality. What do you mean by when you say that?
Well, let me say this, O'Shea. I'm not here to tell people what to do. Like I said, I give young men advice. They can use advice if they want to. This is not just for young men, it's older men. Again, I don't practice family law, but there have been some developments in the family law area of law. You know, Nelson, I'd like to share this with you, O'Shea. I'm going to bring this up on the screen here if I can. This is a post that I saw on the internet a while, I guess maybe last week. If you don't think women are thinking about this, let's read this post. Can you make a male babysitter pay child support? I'm a single mom going to college with my sister. We currently rent an apartment together. A couple of weeks ago, I asked my neighbor, a trustworthy guy, if he could watch the kids for 2 hours. Well, I went to class and my sister wasn't home, and he agreed. If he babysits and doesn't accept pay, can I sue him for child support because he took on a fatherly role? I'm sure I can convince the court that he accepted the fatherly role. So basically what I'm saying is, if you're not careful, you could get caught up in a situation where you could have a judge, a woman sue you. Yes. And so the answer, her first question, can you sue him? Yes, you can sue him. Now, can you get a lawyer to sue him? That's going to be based on whether or not a lawyer feels like there's a good faith claim. But if you got something, if you got that Oberfield Hodges case, and you couple that with the fact that you got this case out of Michigan, and I posted this up too, O'Shea, if you can allow it, because I want the people to see the language. This is what the court said in that November 2015 case. This court stated that given its recognition that a person who is not the biological father of a child may be considered a parent against his will. If she can get someone to write a letter or someone to come testify that, he took my child to school. He picked my child up from school. He paid for my child's clothing. He took my child to the doctor. He babysat. He took my child to a babysitter. To a baseball game, football game. He overall spent his time with my child. And heaven forbid, they call you daddy or stepdad, right? So now what you basically given them enough facts to at least allege that you've taken on the fatherly role. So when you break up with your ex-girlfriend and you say, I'm done with you, you cheated on me, you broke the windows out of my car, I'm through with you, she can then go find a family law lawyer, present to him that fact pattern, and then what? And then you get sued because the lawyer says, well, I have a good faith belief this child, under the equitable parent doctrine, whoa, there's a good faith belief, there's a good claim here. Like maybe I'll lose, maybe I'll win. But guess what? Even defending that is going to cost you money. Yeah. You're going to have to retain a lawyer to fight against that. That may be $5,000, $6,000, $7,000, $8,000, $10,000, and it goes up on an appeal. It can be astronomical. So you got to fight with a woman who you know and they know and everybody knows you haven't had a child with. You may not even have had a sexual relationship with the woman. That's how expansive this can go. So what I'm trying to warn you guys is this is the potential that's out there.
When we talk about how are you exposing yourselves to risk, risk is something that's always going through my mind each and every day with every decision that I am making, right? And what I'm hearing here is that men that choose to expose themselves to women who are single parents, single mothers, right? You may be taking on an added additional risk if you assume a fatherly role, right? In good faith. And then that relationship ends. She could, in this highly litigious society, bring it to a court with a family lawyer.
I'm not saying it'll happen today. I'm not saying it'll happen tomorrow, but it's going to happen at some point. Somebody is going to be the test case, because here's what the government is looking at. The government is saying marriages rates are going down. We need somebody to take this out of wedlock birth rate is going up. We need somebody to help take care of these kids.
Yeah, not
otherwise,
tax dollars.
We're on the hook for taking care of these kids. We got to pay for medical. We got to pay for welfare. We got to do that. So why not get the closest man available to help pay for those kids? So if a woman can get you on the hook, man, she will. And I just thought it was interesting, man. And that's why I brought it up. And if you don't think women are thinking about that, refer back to that post that I put up from 10 years ago.
What I find fascinating, Uncle D is saying, all right, it says it right there, Uncle D. What Uncle D is saying is that you can inevitably be putting yourself at risk, all right? But it sounds like to me, you're putting yourself at even more risk as if you are interacting and have a fatherly role to that child. I think that if you still want to mess with single mothers, make a clear line and delineation that you refuse to have contact with the child and then keep those receipts.